Hey everybody. Um, this is probably a video that is gonna really piss some people off, and maybe I'll get some people that's gonna unsubscribe to me. But before you do that, um, let me tell you a quick thing, real quick. Um, I started stacking at the end of July of 2020, so I've been stacking a little over 2.5 years now, and I absolutely love it. When I mean by stacking, I mean silver and gold. Absolutely love silver and gold. You know, love them. And I've quite a bit of gold. Obviously I've made some trades. I made trades for my gold now. I've traded gold for platinum. I got a couple of platinum pieces here. I got a this one right here. It's Britannia, one ounce platinum. Britannia, absolutely beautiful. I love them. And then I have two Eagles, which is crazy because platinum face value is $100 versus gold is 50. I think it's a better store of value, but I'll get into that later. I've had a lot of gold, and I was kind of thinking gold was better when I first started. But then I also made trades for silver. I don't think silver is going to go back down to 15 to 1 or 16 to 1 to gold. I don't think that, but I definitely think in comparison to gold, I think silver is very undervalued. I really do. And I put silver in a different class, than gold. I do. It's just, to me, it is a store of value like gold, and it's a great savings account, and it is a precious metal, but also it's an investment towards my future because I know the future is going to be using more silver versus gold. I just think compared to gold, they're just giving silver away. And platinum is a lot more rare than gold, and it's valued face valued higher. It's again, it's more rare, and it has a lot of industrial uses. Not as much as silver, obviously, but much more than gold in comparison. I'm getting ready to break down the video from Trader University. Trader University, Matthew Kratter makes his videos. He's my favorite by far as Bitcoin is concerned, making these type of videos. And he's very straightforward. And, this is going to piss some people off. Now let me give you his background real quick. He got into Bitcoin in 2019. I'm 48 years old. Matthew Kratter's in his 50s, a very smart guy, been investing for a long time, got a lot of courses on investing in all kind of stuff, stocks, real estate, and everything. And he had a lot of precious metals when he first started investing. And gold is great, but he's found a better gold. And I think I have too. So I got a gold back right here. Actually, got a couple of gold backs. Now, before you click off the video, let me tell you something. This right here, these three gold backs are my entire gold stack. That's all the gold I have left, and I'll explain as the video goes of why that's all the gold I have left. Again, I love gold, but not in comparison to silver and Bitcoin and platinum. So let's listen to Matthew Kratter break down what the future is of gold and in comparison to Bitcoin and things like that. And guys, listen, there's no reason to get angry and upset. It is what it is, okay? Everybody's got their right to their opinion. And let me say this before I start this video. I am not telling anybody to sell their gold to get Bitcoin or sell their gold to get silver. If you love gold, hey, I understand. Gold is great, and keep your gold. You know what I mean? I'm just giving you a different aspect on what I'm doing. And this is not financial advice, and I'm not telling anybody they're dumb for buying gold or nothing like that. This is just something I'm doing. So let's see what Matthew Kratter has to say about gold and Bitcoin. Let's see what he has to say.
This is Matthew Kratter from Trader University, and today I want to talk about gold's amazing shiny future. This is a comment I got from someone on YouTube. Bitcoiners like to make fun of gold bugs and call us names, but are you aware of what is happening in Missouri with gold possibly becoming legal tender? I don't see Missouri giving you permission to use Bitcoin as money. The future is clearly gold and not Bitcoin if you've been following these developments. There's a lot of talk about this online. Missouri working to pass legislation restoring gold and silver to legal tender status. And there are really three prongs of this. The first prong is requiring the state treasurer to keep a certain amount of gold and silver in the the state treasury. The second part of this is removing capital gains taxes from gold and silver, at least at the state level. And the third part, the most important part, I guess, is recognizing gold as legal tender. So as such, you'd be able to use it to pay off your debts in Missouri, and also presumably you'd be able to use it when you go shopping. I think there's a fundamental misunderstanding about money that is in this person's comment. I don't see Missouri giving you permission to use Bitcoin as money. You don't need government permission to use something as money. For example, people were using Bitcoin as money in El Salvador on Bitcoin Beach long before it became legal tender. And it's usually the opposite. It's widespread usage of something as money usually precedes its adoption, its official adoption as legal tender by the local or federal government. So I'd have to ask this questioner, does this bode well for gold? Are more and more people using gold coins to buy things? How many merchants currently accept gold or silver coins in the US? By contrast, how many merchants accept Bitcoin? And there's actually quite a few. A lot of people aren't aware of this, so I made a video about it, which I'll link to in the description notes below, about how you can buy anything with Bitcoin. And I will also link to this map that shows you all the merchants in the US and globally who accept Bitcoin for goods and services.
Guys, we don't trust the government at all. I don't trust the government to hold gold or anything like that. I like the people to make transactions back and forth. And he's right. The country El Salvador, before it became a Bitcoin country and adopted it as a legal tender, people were trading Bitcoin. And they're doing that all over the world. And eventually the government say, well, man, maybe we should use Bitcoin as a legal tender, or, be able to transact with it and stuff like that. A lot of places don't accept gold. Obviously, they don't accept silver. We do and stuff like that, but you can't use gold and silver in different places. And a lot of places don't use Bitcoin as well. They are doing it, though. Like, I see Bitcoin ATMs. You can buy Teslas with Bitcoin. You can actually buy silver and gold on some websites with Bitcoin. So gold is a great store of value. I absolutely love gold. But again, the difference in the prices, and the reason I have gold is as a store of value. It's a bearer asset, and these are bearer assets to me. My Bitcoin, my silver, and platinum. But we'll get into that in a little bit. But let's see what else he has to say.
You know what else is great about Bitcoin? It's easy for me to buy goods and services from Missouri using Bitcoin while sitting in Colorado. This really is the 21st century. This is how we should be conducting commerce. And the good thing is I don't even need to ask permission from the Missouri Senate to do it. And I would ask this questioner, how do I do that with gold or silver coins? Can I send a gold coin by FedEx? I think it's actually absurd, though, to even be pretending that gold can be good money for the digital age. And I think what the Missouri Senate is doing here is just LARPing. They're pretending that we're going to return to a glorious former age. And it really reminds me of something like the Renaissance fairs, which might be a fun thing to do on a weekend, to dress up and pretend that you've returned to a previous age. But when you're doing it as a political body and pretending that gold can become legal tender again, I think it really is just LARPing.
I 100% agree with that. We live in a digital age, guys. You know what I mean? And again, I'm not participating in the CBDCs, and I know you guys aren't either. We're going to be buying stuff on Amazon and stuff like that, and we can't use our gold when we're doing that. And we're not going to mail cash to them, or we're not going to mail our gold and silver to them. We're not using our gold and silver to transact. We're using it as a store of value. But we do have to buy and do things over the internet and stuff like that. And to believe it or not, credit, I know you guys know this, but credit cards, were made before the internet and stuff like that. And they weren't even, the debit cards and stuff like that, they weren't even made for the internet. But now we are transacting over there, over the internet. And I'm not going to use the CBDCs. This is why I have the best digital money in the world, and that's Bitcoin. And that's where the world is going. It's a digital world. I plan on keeping my silver as a store of value and also as an investment, but I'm not going to trade it back and forth. Missouri is, I get it. They're saying they're going to do that, back their money with gold, but I don't even think they can do it, to be honest. I think it has to be a whole nation that's going to do it. But I could be wrong about that. But again, I don't trust governments to hold the gold. Look at Fort Knox. How much gold is in there? You know what I mean? I don't trust a custodian to hold my money. I don't. That's why I love Bitcoin, because it's peer-to-peer, and it's for the people, by the people, and of the people.
The reality that the questioner doesn't acknowledge really is that gold has a massive demographic problem. We can see this here. Gen Z has a problem with gold, in particular in places like India, where traditionally gold is really valued. And there are groups like the World Gold Council who are trying to, quote unquote, educate younger people and make them like shiny yellow rocks. And I think this really is an uphill battle. What's going to happen instead is millennials and Gen Z are going to dump any gold that they inherit from their Gen X or Boomer parents and buy crypto and NFTs instead. I think this is really already predestined. All of my kids think in terms of game tokens, not shiny yellow rocks, and they have zero interest in gold apart from perhaps jewelry.
I can't disagree with that. My daughter is 21 years old, and I've been telling her to buy silver, and she does have a little silver, and I bought her some silver, and she knows both about Bitcoin and silver. She's a stacker, and she's like, "Well, Daddy, because she's very pragmatic. She's like, Daddy, why do I need to get silver if I got Bitcoin and blah blah?" I said, "Well, honey," and I broke it down. She says, "Okay." She goes, "Well, I definitely don't need gold if I got Bitcoin, because again, we're getting older, guys. We're most of us are Gen X's and older millennials or whatever, and we're getting older, man. You know what I mean? And as we get older, and the people, the baby boomers are dying off. I'm not saying we're dying off. We're about halfway through the race or whatever. The more time that goes by, the more digital the world gets and the more technology the world gets. And this stuff becomes older and more of a relic to the people that are going to be using it. And, we gotta be in a realistic world, guy. We can't sit here and say that we're going to be transacting in gold and silver. Again, in a barter situation, in a SHTF, in a short period of time, yeah, we'll use our constitutional and stuff like that. But again, I don't buy this stuff to transact, and we need to transact over the internet and digitally, and that's why I'm going to use Bitcoin for that.
And so my goal, since this is inevitable that they're going to dump their gold and buy some form of crypto, my goal is to educate these younger generations to make sure that it's Bitcoin that they end up with, rather than some scammy, pre-mined, unregistered security that's masquerading as money like Cardano or Ethereum or XRP, which are really just unregistered securities, as everyone knows.
Yeah, you guys already know. I don't mess with any altcoins or nothing like that. They're just basically trying to copy Bitcoin. I don't mess with any altcoin at all. Ethereum, none of them. Cardano, like you said, Solana, any of them. I don't mess with them. You know what I mean? There's only one, quote unquote cryptocurrency, and that's Bitcoin. I don't even like calling it cryptocurrency because they include it with the other ones. You know what I mean? And Bitcoin is completely different. I think that's one of the reasons that Bitcoin's adoption has been a little bit slower. It's still great. It's up and to the right, of course, but a lot of the almost $1 trillion market cap, half of it is Bitcoin, the other half is to the what coin. So yeah, it's only Bitcoin for me.
At this point in the video, the question or the objection I always get is, wait, but don't central banks own a lot of gold? Yes, indeed they do, simply because this was the historical reserve asset. Does this mean that you should load up on gold too? Definitely not, because remember that central banks are playing a different game. They are investing trade surpluses. They're playing political games as well. And I would say that their huge investments in U.S. treasuries have not exactly been home runs over the past 10 years from a return perspective. If you want to increase your wealth, if you want to preserve your wealth, central banks and central bankers are actually the last people you should be following. Central bankers are a relic of yesterday. Bitcoin is the digital money of tomorrow.
Couldn't agree more. I'm not doing anything that the central banks are doing. And I hear that argument a lot. Oh, central banks are buying gold and stuff like that. I get it. You know what I mean? Gold is great. I'm not knocking gold. You know what I mean? But again, we're in a digital age. I think the government should buy Bitcoin as much as they can because it's finite. It's very finite. I'm not saying gold isn't either. Gold is definitely finite. But we're mining it more and more every day. And there's pockets of gold that we don't even know that exist that may be out there that might increase the supply. You never know. And we don't know how much gold we have in Fort Knox. We really don't. But again, I'm not doing anything that the central banks are doing. Because if we did what they're doing, then we'd just be counterfeiting money. Printing our own money, because that's what they do. And they're terrible at balancing their books. So why would I listen to them?
Here's an idea. Again, this isn't investment advice, but let's say that your investment portfolio is 50% bonds, 40% stocks, 10% physical gold, If you have doubts about this, keep that 9% in gold, move just 1% to Bitcoin. Again, not financial advice or investment advice. This is just me riffing on this idea. Or keep 49% in bonds and move just 1% to Bitcoin, because if Bitcoin does end up 100xing or 200xing or more, as I expect, if it 100x's, your portfolio will be up 100%, even with that tiny allocation to Bitcoin. And your gold holdings, holding 9% gold instead of 10% gold is really not a big difference, or 49% bonds instead of 50% bonds. But this will give you exposure to Bitcoin, and it will really protect you if Bitcoin ends up becoming a big thing, as I expect it to do.
Again, guys, not financial advice. I'm not telling anybody to buy Bitcoin. I can only suggest it. But I've done a lot of research on this, man, and it is the digital money of the future. In my opinion, based on some facts that I've done a lot of research on, and so have a lot of people. I know a lot of people don't believe in Bitcoin and stuff, but I think that's a great allocation that he's saying. Again, nobody's telling you to break the bank or nothing like that, but I know I keep repeating this, but for the new people, you don't have to buy a whole Bitcoin. I know Bitcoin's like 20-something thousand. And you look at the other altcoins and you see they're oh my God, this one's 10 cents, this was 50 cents. You can buy 50 cents of Bitcoin. You can buy 10 cents of Bitcoin. Bitcoin is broken up in a thing called Satoshis. It's 100 million Satoshis to every one Bitcoin. There's 8 billion people in the world, and there's only going to be 21 million Bitcoin that's ever made. But it's going to be less than that, because the 21 million is not going to be here until 2140, and we'll all be dead. So you don't need that much Bitcoin. You really don't. So for the people that are just saying, I'm not going to do that. Again, it's not financial advice. It's just, I don't think it's a smart thing. But again, if you know something I don't, hey, whatever. And I can't tell anybody what to do, but I would highly suggest taking a look at it and just getting a little bit. And that's not a bad allocation that he just said.
I would say that there are very high costs associated with being stubborn and becoming the next Peter Schiff, who's been bearish on Bitcoin since it was trading probably in the single or double digits. Meanwhile, gold is really stalled out at 1,700, 1,800 as Bitcoin continues to move higher. We can see here gold currently trading at a price that it was last trading in August of 2011. So it's gone nowhere for a decade. And this decade has shown the most quantitative easing, the most government central bank money printing that we've ever seen. And gold has really either been captured through paper gold and controlled, or there's something wrong. It's certainly losing market share to Bitcoin, as we see gold's market cap stagnate and Bitcoin's market cap continue to creep higher. Here's a log chart of Bitcoin showing the same period of time and how Bitcoin has appreciated. If you want to learn more about my thoughts on gold and silver and Bitcoin, I'll link to these two videos, why gold and silver are much worse than Bitcoin, as well as is gold a better store of value than Bitcoin? And spoiler alert, it definitely is not.
That's a very interesting chart to see gold basically not doing anything. And again, all the quantitative easing and all the inflation and stuff like that, gold should be much higher, right? Well, we all know it's manipulation. We know that. It's the same thing with silver. Gold is on sale, to be honest. If it wasn't for silver, I'd be buying plenty more gold, and it wasn't for Bitcoin and platinum, because I feel like they do this same thing, but better to me than gold. But I'm not knocking gold. I absolutely love it. But it's manipulation, and they keep doing it. And gold should be at least $3,000-$4,000 an ounce. I mean, and I think silver should be a couple $100 an ounce, but unfortunately it's not, and it's on sale. But Bitcoin's chart is obviously a lot better. It's younger. It's only been here 14 years. So you got to put that in perspective too. But when you're comparing the two assets, for the last 10 years, Bitcoin, obviously it's had a crash too. It's like at a 70-75% from its high, down from that. You know what I mean? But still, it's up from, in 10 years, it's up a lot. You know what I mean? From when it started. Even though the highs keep going up, the lows keep going up too. You know what I mean? It's all about the lows, and Bitcoin's performing very well. So let's see what he has to say. He's going to finish up here in a second.
Compared to gold, Bitcoin is more scarce, it's more portable, it's more easily divisible, it's easier to store, it's easier to hide, it's easier to assay or verify, it's easier to sneak across borders, Bitcoin is. If our founding fathers were alive today, they would be writing Bitcoin into the Constitution rather than gold and silver, because they were very forward-thinking people, and they would not be holding on to a barbarous relic of the past like gold. I would say that the Missouri Senate and the person who left that comment are both severely misguided. But you don't need to be. You can choose to embrace the digital future instead of pretending that we're going to go back to a gold standard, because we're not. The gold standard failed miserably once and led directly to the current fiat mess. And no government will willingly embrace gold again, because it really shackles their hands and prevents them from issuing lots of fiat. The gold standard will never again be tried on a global scale. And then, of course, at this point, people will say, but isn't gold a useful commodity? Yes, it is, but unfortunately, only 10% of its current value can be attributed to industrial demand. And what that means is that if gold is demonetized at this point and loses its monetary premium, its price will fall 90% from here approximately. If you like and understand gold, I would say that you should be doing a serious deep dive into Bitcoin, which is essentially digital gold. And if you really understand gold, as you begin to research Bitcoin, you'll begin to see that this is really the gold that you've been looking for.
And that's one of the main reasons and other reasons why I got into Bitcoin. I study the founding fathers and the Constitution, and I agree with what he said about if they were alive today, they'd be with Bitcoin. What I disagree with on that part when he said, it would fall 90% gold. He's saying in a hypothetical situation, if they demonetize gold, which I don't think in our lifetime or any lifetime they'll ever do that. So I don't agree with that. He's just making a comparison that if it did do that, if it happened to do that, only 10% is used for industrial. That's why I love silver so much, because it's so needed in industry and technology and things like that. That again, it does things that gold can't, and so does platinum. And I think platinum to me is a better store of value, regardless, except that it's more widely accepted gold obviously than platinum, but platinum is a much more rare. And I think it's just a better form of money because it's got a higher denomination and it's more rare. Gold is the gold standard. I get it, but platinum is always higher if you look at the credit cards and things like that. So, interesting video. No need to get mad. No need to be upset. It's just a thought process. And again, nobody's telling you to sell your gold or this, that, and the third. But again, don't listen to me. Do your own research. And I suggest I highly suggest you take a good look at Bitcoin. For those of you that don't know, these devices right here, this is a Ledger Nano X right here. And then this is a Trezor Model T. These are called cold storages. And my Bitcoin is not on these cold storages, but my Bitcoin is on the blockchain. But I put my passcode in here to get to my Bitcoin that's on the blockchain. And I own my Bitcoin. So when I buy let's say you buy Bitcoin on Cash App or Venmo or Coinbase or whatever, you buy it, and if you keep it on those exchanges, it's not yours. Just like keeping your silver in a vault, in somebody else's vault, or keeping your cash in a bank. Again, if you don't hold it, you don't own it. Same thing with Bitcoin. This has a key phrase, and I take my Bitcoin off the exchange and put it into the blockchain through my cold storage. And again, just like silver and gold, if you don't hold it, you don't own it. Same thing. This is not your keys, not your coins, and these are mine. I own all these. This all my my Bitcoin are on here. You know what I mean? I don't have any on exchange. I don't have any of my precious metals in any kind of safe in anybody else's paper, assets, or whatever. I don't do any of that. This is all my stuff. So again, Bitcoin and precious metals are on the same team, guys, and they just do different things. This is the physical and this is the digital, and we are in the digital age, and I think you need both. I've been arguing back and forth with Bitcoin stackers. They don't think I need, they don't need these old relics and these precious metals, and my precious metal stackers don't think they need Bitcoin, but I think we need both. All right, guys, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Do you agree with the video, what he said? Do you disagree? Is he crazy? Am I crazy? How much gold you got? What are you going to do with the Bitcoin? What are you going to do with your cash, your silver? What are you going to do? Let me know. Please, guys, in the comment section below. Do me a favor, guys. If you like this video, hit the like button. Only if you like it. If you guys like my channel and my videos, go ahead and share it. Guys, am I sharing stuff with you? I think so. There's another Bitcoin coin in here. One of 10,000. I got two of them. This is on the moon. But with Elon Musk, I think we'll be going to Mars. But will Bitcoin and gold and silver and platinum go to the moon? We'll see. So since I'm sharing stuff with you, at least you can do is share my videos, because you already know sharing is caring. You guys also know I love you very much. You guys are my boys. You guys know the guys. There's nothing personal. I love all my stuff, all the precious metals, and you guys do too. And again, if you're a Bitcoin stacker, I highly suggest you take a look at precious metals. And if you're a precious metal stacker, I highly advise you to take a look at some Bitcoin, because we need both, guys. All right. I love each and every one of you. I'll talk to you soon. God bless you and your family. God bless this country. And we're gonna make it, guys. We're gonna make it. And these bank runs, it's unfortunate, but we need to keep going, and we need to inform these people, fight for our freedom, fight for our sovereignty, and be your own bank. All right. I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace and love.